From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, we unveil the first of Corey and Mai's top 40. We also talk about recruiting. Are they any better off than we thought they were going to be at this point? And tanking. Is it coming to college sports? Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it, everybody. Sip the juice. One bottle. 260 milligrams of all-natural caffeine, vitamins, and nutrients. You know what it does. Improves your mood. Improves your focus. Gets you a little bit better of a pump in the gym. Helps with the hydration. Helps with your immune response. Anything you want to get better pretty much when it comes to your physical well-being, Vitamin Energy's got a formula for you. Why don't you shake it and take it? Give it a shot. VitaminEnergy.com. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Come home, everybody. We're getting ready. The top 40, first edition released over on Warchant.com. The composite factoring in everybody's opinions. Gene's been doing this for like 30 years. Jeff's been doing it for almost 30 years. Ira's been doing it for over 20. He's coming on close to 25 years, I would think. Mm-hmm. You've been doing this forever. Tom and I, we lived through the lost decade. We came out the other side stronger, better. Matt Lasser also dropping some knowledge. Go check it out. Also, all the recruiting you'll ever need under one roof over on the recruiting and portal board as well. And columns from Corey Clark. He also has a podcast, this podcast, and headlines, which will be going on later today. Corey Clark, how are you, man? Happy belated. How was that? How did Brady Clark's exploits on the diamond in Hoover, Alabama go?
His team had, I should say, the best tournament they've probably ever had since Brady's been doing travel baseball. They didn't win it, but it was a pretty big tournament. It was like 36, 38 teams, and they finished third. Well, they lost in the semifinals, so I guess they finished third or fourth, but I'm going to say they finished third because the other team that lost in the semifinals got run ruled 12-0 in 5 innings, and Brady's team did not get run ruled. They lost to the number 21 team in the nation. Brady had a couple hits, though.
Let's go.
So that was nice, but they lost, and then that team that they lost to the number 8 team in the nation in the championship game. Brady's team is not nationally ranked, but they finished third out of 30-something teams, and he kind of got robbed of a home run, which was that's a weird feeling for a dad to watch this Ronald Acuna freak 16-year-old go literally like dive, leap into the wall, and make a catch as he hit the fence and then sprawl to the ground and hold on to it. I wanted to go strangle the kid, but it was a great play. So I guess I didn't cheer for him, but I did appreciate that all the other fans did. All the other parents did cheer for him.
Brady come out the box screaming fast.
He did. Thanks for asking, Aslan. He did not think it was gone. He did not assume it was gone. He did not pimp it. So he's at least learned that lesson.
Yeah, I think he's just going to have to come to Tallahassee, go to Tallahassee College for 1 year, get a little more muscle on him, and then Link's going to take over and then rocket ship to the moon.
Can you imagine, I don't know how Jim Henry did it, and I know I've talked about this before, but Jim Henry is the Democrat sports editor now at the Tallahassee Democrat. His son, Brian Henry, was a All-America pitcher at Florida State. How would I, even if Brady was like Brady DeLamalier,
Brody.
How would I be able to Brody? Sorry, I'll call him Brady though. Yeah. How would I be able to talk about that? How do people talk about I wouldn't be able to do this job?
Yeah,
because I'd be he didn't have anything to say about his son going 0 for 11 with 5 Ks. That's weird. But when Cam Smith grabs his crotch when he walks, he has a lot to say. So yeah, that would be crazy. I don't know how. I don't think I could do it. So sadly, I don't think that's going to be ever tested. But it would be something if it was.
Yeah, we'll see. Without further ado, then, Corey, let's turn our attention to our day job covering the Florida State Seminoles football program. I don't know what year edition this is of the preseason top 40, but it's back. I don't know if it's bigger than ever, but it is back. It's over on warchant.com. You can see the composite, but you and I are going to go back and forth and reveal our picks. I've got your picks in front of me, but
okay.
First things first, play that man's music. Let us begin at number 40. Now, listen, if you looked at the top 40 over on warchant.com and saw the composite, I think 4 out of the 5 guys, I might have had them rank the highest out of anybody on the panel. Because there were just a lot of guys, Corey, going into year 2, year 3, just wasn't buying. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm going to otherwise put my hopes on unproven true freshmen. So with that said, I just think Kevin Wynn, highly touted recruit from Georgia. I know he came in late. He was a summer enrollee, which is fine, man. Go be a kid, enjoy prom, do all the things you can. Just feel like maybe by October, November, he can perhaps work into the rotation, maybe make an impact play or 2, or at least we'll get a quote or 2 from maybe a coach who's talking about how far he's come along and how he's being a part of the process, or rather part of the solution to getting the defense going. So I've got Kevin Wynn, number 40. You've got a true freshman, same side of the ball, different level of the defense on your list. Do you know who it is, Corey, or do you need me to go ahead and inform you?
No, I have no idea who it is.
Okay. Number 40 on your list, Charles Lester.
Okay, yep. I just don't. He's got to make a stride, right? Like, he didn't play much at all last year. I think there's a lot there to like. The length, the speed. Didn't see how he played in the spring because we didn't get to watch practice, so I don't know if he made those strides. But I think there's a chance he'll be called upon. But right now, 40 is about, halfway? It's exactly halfway on the roster. I think there's just as good a chance he's a role player and maybe doesn't get much time at all as there is that he's a contributing member of the secondary. But his story's not written, Aslan. What is he, a true sophomore? Yeah. So he's got time to prove his wares. But, yeah, I'm not convinced that he's going to be a big-time member of the secondary right now as we talk in June.
Well, I don't know. He might be a redshirt freshman. Looks like last year he played in 3 games. So
okay, all right.
At least he's got 3 games worth of stats on PFF. So I don't know, unless he was special team stuff in a few of the other games, but I doubt they would have burned a red shirt on him. I'm not going to push back too much on that. 39, I've got Sam Singleton, just because my girlfriend went to Fleming Island High School, and that's where Sam Singleton's from, Corey. Okay. 38th, I've got Kevin Sperry. It just feels like sometimes it's like kicker, punter, backup quarterback.
Yeah.
You kind of, will they, won't they, make an obviously punter and kicker, starting kickers, they've got more likelihood, but who knows if Sperry comes in and helps out in a drive, in a pinch, maybe they got some sort of special package for him because they do think he's quite athletic. So I think it's worth maybe having him a stock in my portfolio on Kevin Sperry. So go Wynn, Singleton, Sperry. You had Lester, and then you went Elijah Moore and Omar Graham Jr. at 38, Corey. Disrespect. Defend yourself.
Because I Herring and Stephon Thompson and Cryer. I mean, I think those are 3 guys that I expect to be the 3 guys that play the most, but I could be wrong. I have no idea. Do you like Justin Cryer more than Omar Graham? I absolutely do. I think he's got more instinctual. I think he's just more instinctual. I think he's a better football player. I think Omar Graham has had 3 years to prove. I think 3 years to prove that he can be something. I just haven't seen it yet. But that, again, he also might play a ton. I know he's been banged up, but it seems like he has a history of getting a little banged up. And I just don't trust him to be a vital, consistent part of this defense. That said, the reason he's ranked at all is because there's a chance he will be. There's a chance when the season's over, he might be 3rd on the team in tackles. Like, I don't know. But I just, last year kind of soured me on thinking that he was going to be a top-tier, top-level defensive player. But things change, and I'll say it again. His story is not written. He can prove me wrong.
Okay. Cryer started 2 games last season before getting injured in the North Carolina game, I think it was. Played 274 snaps, graded out at 63.1. Omar Graham started, I think, 9 games. 390 snaps, graded out at 61.8. He's gotten incrementally better from 22 to 23 to 24. But his biggest cheerleader seemed to be Adam Fuller, and he's obviously no longer with the program, so maybe not too bad of a pick by you there at
I just think he's kind of similar to Herring and Thompson. in the kind of the bigger body, middle of the field linebacker, not coming off the edge. Yeah. I just think those two guys are better than him. Right. So I don't know where he fits, where he's going to play ahead of those two. Cryer, I think, has a chance to get multiple, to come off the edge some, to be a guy that plays in space. I don't think that's Omar Graham's game.
37 for me could be, obviously, I have a lot of egg on my face and regret this. And listen, I know this was made after he obviously said he was going to go back in the portal and then ended up coming back to Florida State. Marquise Douglas, I've got him at 37. I don't know. I mean, I'm telling you, everybody, you should probably spend more time with your families and your loved ones. But if you get bored and you find yourself maybe 35, 40 minutes of downtime, go ahead and rank who you think are going to be the 40 most impactful players for this team this year.
Not 40 best either. Right. Most impactful, yeah.
It's a lot more difficult than you think. Just, I don't know. Marquise could maybe catch a big third down in a game in November that, keeps a drive going, and perhaps Florida State gets a go-ahead touchdown, go-ahead score. And we'll look back on that drive like he had a really pivotal play. So that would fit you in somewhere at the bottom of a top 40 if you have a play that leads directly to a game-winning drive, I feel like, for a team that's going to be 7 to 9 wins, we think. 37 for you, Andre Otto.
Yeah, but I was going to say, going to and that's just an offensive lineman I don't expect to play a ton, but he might, and if he does, he'll be impactful. And he might just play a game. He might have to start in a pinch and help them win a game. But to that point, I was going to go back to you with Marquise. I think you could make an argument that Giorgio Newberry was one of the top 40 most impactful players on the 2013 national championship team. And he didn't. I don't know that he caught a pass. Yeah. But third and short, that team was pretty good. And he was usually on the field on third and short. So even those plays, like being good at third and short, getting first downs, helping you because you're a big body tight end like Giorgio Newberry was. I think Newberry was on the field for the game-winning play, the Benjamin play. I think Giorgio Newberry's there celebrating in the end zone. That's how important he was. He was on the field for the biggest play in Florida State football in the last quarter century. So to Aslan's point, I don't expect Marquise Douglas to have a huge season catching the ball. But what if he's their short yardage tight end who's an extra blocker on the edge, and he helps convert 5 third and twos over the course of 2 games, and those drives end up leading to game-winning touchdowns or field goals? That's important. It's not rah-rah, go catch the ball, go have 50 catches for 100, 1,000 yards. But those are important people too. And when you're in the, low 30s, or is it high 30s? Right. I guess we're kind of in the however you want to phrase it, when you're 37th out of an 85-man, you're not going to be a guy that puts up huge numbers, but you impact games in a positive way, and he could do that even if he's the third or fourth string tight end because he has a skill set of big body, short yardage. I can push a guy off the edge and get a first down.
Again, 37th for you, Andre Otto. That is the lowest. Everybody has Andre Otto on their ballot. They have him higher on their lists, Corey.
Yeah, I think that maybe wishful thinking, hoping that, for heaven's sake, maybe a Florida State recruit from high school will not only play on the offensive line, but play well and start a lot of games. It has been a while since that happened. That wasn't because of injury. Right. Like he just went and won a position. So maybe Andre Otto is that guy. But I'm assuming it's all going to be a bunch of 23-year-olds on the offensive line.
36th on your list, the final of the 5 picks here that we go, breaking these things down 36 to 40. You got Blake Nicholson, Corey. You got him ahead of Omar Graham by 2 spots. Come on.
Yeah, I'm taking a shot there. I think we've given up on that kid. I don't even know if anybody else has him ranked, or ranked certainly not high. I just think that the athleticism and the size with Tony White's defense, surely there's something he can do with that. Maybe he can be an effective pass rusher. Maybe he comes in on third downs and helps rush the pass rusher from the other side of James Williams. And you got 2 long-haired white kids just sacking the quarterback all the time. Meet me at the quarterback. No, James Williams doesn't have long hair, does he?
He does not. No.
Sorry, so just leave it to the race. I think that athleticism still, I think, can play. They can do something with it. And there's a chance. That's all. And what if he gets What if he's a third down pass rusher or third down in coverage, and he has an interception on a third down that changes the game. Yeah. He has 2 sacks and one of them is a strip sack. When you're talking about these numbers on the team and impact, I can see that happening. I just think I think there's a chance Tony White can unleash some of that because he is an impressive kid physically.
I mean, Kalen DeLoach is the kind of kid that comes off the edge and makes a strip sack. I think, but Blake Nicholson in coverage, maybe. Like I can see that, like bats a ball, tips a ball, gets picked by somebody else, changes the tide of the game.
He's not DeLoach fast, but he's fast for a linebacker.
I know, but the guys that do that are the freaks from Alabama. We don't see a lot of strip sacks from a blitzing linebacker like we saw in the yesteryear of football, but it doesn't seem like we have a lot of it in this day and age.
Well, I just think with the 3-4, you're going to have linebackers in different positions that we're
3-3, no 3-3-5. It'll be like 3-3-5, I think, right? More 3-3-5 than 3-4.
Yeah, sure, but there will be linebackers in different. There will be linebackers in different positions. It'll morph into a 3-4. There'll be guys on the outside. There'll be linebackers always trying to find gaps to get to the quarterback. Maybe, just maybe, because of that athleticism and that unique athleticism for a linebacker. He is the fastest linebacker they got. Maybe he has an innate ability to get to the quarterback. It's just a shot. Just throwing that out there.
All right, for me, 36th on my list, Shamar Arnaud, a.k.a. Duty. This really just underscores, listen, like you've got dad on your side. Blake's played a lot of football, probably has a better shot of doing this. There's a lot of guys, again, that have been on this roster that I just feel I want to move on from, but just I'm not going to rely on. And I know if you're saying, well, you're going to rely on a true freshman instead, not necessarily. Just think maybe by some point in the season, they become a little bit more of an impactful player than some of these other veterans that maybe just can't ever get these things figured out. They seem to get a lot of preseason praise was given to Duty. Shamar, I'm going to tell you Shamar. Sorry, we're not best friends. I'm not going to call you by your nickname. So I'll go with Shamar Arnaud. Plus, that secondary, other than Jeremiah Wilson, I guess Shaheem, just by virtue of being here for so long, but not necessarily really by the way he's played football lately, kind of have some spots firmed up. Otherwise, a secondary could easily have a bunch of guys emerge in October, November that maybe weren't in the plans from the jump, or maybe Arnaud has a really good preseason camp and he's one of those first, second guys they'll go to when they start rotating guys in and out. Did want to check back real quick, Corey. Didn't want to gloss over too much. 39th, you got Elijah Moore. That might be the one player on our bottom 5, if you want to call it. If he actually performs to a level that gets him on this list, that might have the bigger upside than anybody else that we've talked about in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, because he's shown some upside. And again, receivers don't, they get hurt, they get banged up, they get nicked up, and I don't expect him to be one of the top 3 receivers on this team. I guess he's got a chance to be the third, but I think he's going to be in the top 5. And if you're in the top 5, you've got a chance to make a big contribution. Again, even if it's just 3 touchdown catches, but one of them is a game winner, or one of them sets a tone early, whatever. He just gets free for a touchdown in a big game. That's a big enough impact to say that he belongs on a list. But there is a chance he's really good. No. There's also a chance he barely sees the field. It's the beauty of football. It's the beauty of sports, everyone. Yeah. But I think that if he does come close to his potential, he has a chance to make an impact this season. Even as I think he's got to be a true sophomore. I don't look at these kids' classifications anymore. Who cares? They all play 8 or 9 years. But I think he played enough last year.
The guy from Tennessee didn't get his 9th year.
Oh, the basketball player, right?
Yeah.
Menzer,
Mackay.
Don't, yeah. And but the kid in Miami last year, their tight end got to play his 9th season. Because what a tragedy it would have been if he only got to play 8 years of college football.
Dude, my cursor is not working, and it's very bothersome. But that's off the beaten path here. I do think this is me assuming some things. Is that I would imagine Gus, when it comes to your assignment as a wide receiver, probably doesn't have as much on your plate as what I think Norvell wanted to put on these guys last year and in years prior. It's the whole push and pull, right? It's either too simple and then the next coach needs to come and make things more complex, or it's too complex and the next coach needs to come here and make it a little bit more simplified. But it seemed like Elijah Moore, his athletic gifts were very apparent, but might not have known, listen, if the defense is in this, you need to go to this position, you need to go in motion or things like that. You need to find soft spots in the zone and option routes, things like that. It might be a little bit more simple where it's like, hey man, just 10 yards cut in, post route, 9 route, Very much more of a simple kind of approach. I think that might be the way that Gus is going to put some stuff on the plate for a guy like Elijah Moore, but time will tell, and we will see. But not bad. There were some comments over on warchant.com, and they, thought that there were some players on there that, are injured and they're already on the top 40. It's not a good sign, but I don't know. When we just talked about it and hashed it out there, Corey, I don't feel nearly as bad about it as I did about 2 weeks ago when I first put my list down there.
Yeah. It was more fun 2 years ago.
It was.
It's more fun 2 years ago because you had stars at the top. Yeah. It's not. Look, any 40 to 36 is always going to be a challenge. 40 to 30 is always going to be a challenge. But when you get into the 20s and high teens or low teens, however you want to phrase it, I don't know if 13 is high. I assume that's a low teen, but it sounds negative to say low. Anyway, you guys know what I'm saying. That you want some more. You want some more star power, and that I think was my biggest concern with this top 40 is there's not a ton of star power or proven star power. But, what are you going to do? SMU didn't have a ton of star power last year, and they were in the playoff.
Here are the players that were on 36 to 40 for 2023 from Corey and myself. Corey we'll go from 36th down to 40, okay. So go in descending order. Vandrevis, Jacobs, Winston Wright, Rodney Hill, KJ Kirkland, Tate Rodemaker.
So Rodemaker's a good one.
Yeah, he won a game.
Yeah. Yep.
Kyle Morlock for me, Quindarius Jones, Ryan Fitzgerald, Conrad Hussey, Destin Hill.
Yeah, those all seem about right.
I mean,
it's a bummer with Destin Hill, but Destin Hill, he had a big catch in the pit game. Yeah. It's like when you're talking about a 39, like who is that supposed to be? The guy that's 39th most impactful on your team when there's 22 starters isn't all that impactful. You can't expect that a lot. Like Rodemaker, he outkicked his ceiling there. If I had him 40th, well, he really came in for the North Alabama game too. So, the Louisville game was 2022, but he came in and won the Florida game, sorta. Threw it up to Johnny Wilson, handed it off to Trey. I think that when we're talking about this part of a list, it's hard to quantify what being the 36th most impactful player on a football team is. But those weren't terrible guesses. No. Vandrevius didn't work out. What are you going to do?
CPTallybar.com, it's a website. It represents the online home of Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, which resides at 2475 Appalachia Parkway. It's a great place to watch a game, throw some darts, shoot some pool, grab a drink, and a bite to eat. Listen, for being a college town, some late-night dining options are limited in Tallahassee, believe it or not, everybody. Especially if you don't want to end up in a drive-thru with a bunch of drunken students. Actually, I shouldn't say drunken. Yeah. Maybe just some students that have been busy studying and maybe not totally paying attention. The kitchen, open until 1:30 at CP, everybody. And the food is delicious. Also, daily lunch specials from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. They come with a side dish of your choice. Very, very tasty. Later tonight, trivia night going down 7 p.m., which you get there a little bit early and can take advantage of the happy hour that goes from 4 to 7 p.m. and then go wild for your trivia team. And then Thursday, bingo night. That also starts at 7 p.m. 4 rounds, $250 cash money up for grabs in each single round. 40 televisions, whatever you want, sporting-wise mostly, will be on a TV over at the CP. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it. Florida State got a commitment on Monday. Defensive lineman James Carrington. He's got the nickname Tank. Good memories. Tank Carradine. Carradine? Carradine.
That's right. Carradine. And he was really good. He was a good player.
Yeah. 6'2", 240-pound defensive lineman from Irvine, California. Orange County, everybody. Consensus 3-star. Florida State currently ranked now 17th in the country as we sit here and talk, Corey. I don't know if somebody else in the country gets another commitment. That might obviously affect where they sit. Hearing that number, that they're ranked 17th right now in the nation, and listen, Texas is 15th. The Gators are 13th. OU's 18th. Michigan's 21st. So you're not really in that bad a company at 17, but Is 17 good enough, or based on the vibes that you've detected maybe on the internet or talking to other Florida State fans, do you think that's higher or lower than you would have guessed had I asked you like 2 minutes ago to guess where they'd be?
Can we just get some 5 stars?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a 5-star freak. I'm not a guy that just 5-star or bust. But, man, it would be nice just to have a couple. That'd be nice to see if that could happen again. That's all, because when you look at the list of the teams around Florida State right now, just on 3, and I know they're different, they're ranked different on different sites, but like Ole Miss is 20th, Michigan's 21st, like you said, Oklahoma's 18th, Texas is 15th, UCLA's 16th, and UCLA has 17 commits. Florida State has 12. So as soon as Florida State gets another commit, I assume they're going to pass them, just because that's how the points operate. Florida's 13th, South Carolina's 12. Like, oh, Alabama's 12, Florida's 13th, South Carolina's 14th. Like, that's a pretty good pond you're swimming in, right?
Yeah.
Michigan, Oklahoma, you're right there. This isn't embarrassing. But, it just – so my point being, they're all 4 stars and 3 stars. Texas is at 15th. They have 6 4-stars and 6 3-stars, just like Florida State does. The difference is Texas has a 5-star, Florida State doesn't. In rankings or not, go get a couple of superstars. Go get a couple of big names. Get people excited about incoming guys again. That would be nice. That's all. Hakeem Williams was at least fun to get excited about. I guess Kromenhoek was too. Like, it just get a couple of bigger names, and I know they're in on some big names, and some big names I think have whittled them down and put them in their final 3. So it does seem to be, I don't know, progressing well, but it wouldn't appear that if you're 17th in this day and age, if you're 17th in June, that you're going to go catch the likes of LSU and Ohio State. But I don't know if that's true or not. But I do know that Clemson's 7th, but Clemson also has 18 commits. Florida State right now has 12. So if they get a few more 4 stars, they'll climb up the ladder. It's at least nice that they're, they're not that far off from what other teams are doing. Like you're recruiting with the likes of Michigan and Oklahoma, in Florida, in Texas. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. They seem to be doing okay. Not great, though.
Not
and
great.
No superstars.
Quarterback is also eluding them right now. They had the Brady Smigel kid from California was committed for a little bit, but then decommitted last year amid some of the struggles. It sounded like Florida State was going to try to get Keyshawn Henderson, a talented quarterback, I think from the state of Texas, to come visit. They had him make a public pronouncement that he was going to – is that a pronouncement? Is that a word? Or did I just make that
Yeah,
up?
man, you crushed it. No,
All
you
right,
crushed
thank
it.
you. That he was going to actually visit officially Florida State, but then at the last minute said, nope, I'm not going to, and I'm going to stick with my commitment to Houston. Then Landon Duckworth was a quarterback that they were also trying to zero in on. Malzahn and him had a little bit of a track record. I think he'd been recruited to UCF when Malzahn was still there, but then he knocked Florida State out of his top 2. So now they moved to Jaden O'Neal, who's a quarterback that he's committed to Oklahoma. Sounds like Oklahoma's probably kind of moving on for him. So you might find yourself now here in 2 straight classes kind of going after, ending up with a guy who was kind of cut loose from Oklahoma. And I mean, it's a good program though, but doesn't really maybe help recruit some of the other talented, skilled players. But then again, who knows how much compensation factors in, and who knows how much are being offered now with the house settlement being played in there. But something either a dynamic quarterback that has good charisma, can bring some guys with them and does a really good job recruiting, or like those 5-star safety. Give me one of these rangy 6'2" safeties or one of these disruptive pass rushers. That would certainly be nice, but still we wait.
I think I want to amend what I said earlier. The 5 stars are fine, but there's only 25 of them. I would like some top 100 guys.
Well, you're also one of the top 25 programs in the country, Corey. I know it doesn't work that way that you get one, every team gets one, but you should be able to get 5. Hundreds are good. Yeah, top 100 is probably a better barometer. I agree. Because
I'm looking at their national rankings, and you're looking at their highest ranked recruit right now is number 230 in the nation. They have a 258, a 250. No, I guess they have a 172. Amari Thomas, depending on the sites, right? Some don't have them ranked, some do, but you don't have anybody in the top 100. And I just feel like, 4 stars are 4 stars. You can you can puff your chest out about how we signed 13 4-stars, but they're not all created equal, as we know. Some 4-stars end up being Rashad Green. Some 4-stars end up being choose a receiver that wasn't any good that played at Florida State. There's a million of them, and that goes for every school. Rashad Green was a 4-star, so Devontae Freeman ended up being a 4-star. So there are 4-stars that are created differently, and you need to go get some. Go get some.
Get you some.
Go get you some high-ranked 4-star kids, whether you get 5 stars or not. It's just they're all because I just think there's a lot of Quite frankly, and the reason I say this, I'm not trying to judge these kids before I've seen a second. I'm not watching their huddle films, everyone. I don't know about the explosiveness, quick trigger.
First step, strong
first
hands.
Step. Yeah, don't know about any of that.
Bend.
I do know that the track record of this staff bringing in high school kids that end up being stars is not great in this staff, this head coach, I guess. So I'd like some maybe no-brainers, can't screw them up guys. No doubt, absolute surefire. Because right now, as it stands, I think the highest-ranked kid they brought in is Hakeem, right? Maybe Azarie, but I think it's a Hakeem. That didn't work out. Yeah. Cromenhawk was ranked highly. That didn't work out. Go get some guys that can't miss and that actually don't miss. And I just think that's what we're lacking with the high school recruiting.
Yeah, Carrington, it looks like Florida State was the only official visit he's taken, but had visited USC. He's from California, had visited Oregon. NC State visited Georgia a few times on an unofficial visit, but nothing officially here. So, it's just when I've been in and out the last few weekends, and I'll check the Warchant Twitter feed. They did get that kid,
by the way. They did get Brandon Bennett, wide receiver from American Heritage. He's a 4-star, and he's thought of pretty highly.
Yeah. The 2 top recruits that Florida State has, he's in top 250. When I say that, he's 250th in the country composite. Brandon Bennett, he's 6'1", 165, and then Ephraim White is 6'1", 155, and he's the highest ranked player Florida State has, 233rd composite in the country. So, not physically imposing guys, but hey, they might be really fast, they might be really twitchy, and be able to kind of get open. But
I like Ephraim as a name because if you take out the R.
Right.
That's how he plays football.
Yeah, the R is really just an apostrophe.
Well, it's just like I hope people get you F them. Yeah. F them. That's another touchdown. Yeah. That's another touchdown for the Noles. F them.
That's right.
That's going to be Ephraim all day. That's going to be Ephraim all day.
Yeah, we'll try to get Michael or Matt on here. We're going to have them later on the week. But I am curious about the fact that, again, when I look at our Warchant Twitter feed throughout a Saturday or a Sunday, the guys are out there and they're taking photos of all these kids arriving, and it's always 3. It's seemingly always 3-star, 3-star, 4-star, 3-star, 3-star, 4-star. So I wonder how much of this ultimately, to their knowledge, how much of it ultimately is 2-10, bad feelings, maybe a more an offense that might not be as pro style, whatever you want to call it, translates to playing in the NFL as much. Although running back and offensive line, that they have not had any shortage of that. Herb Hand and Gus Malzahn. How much of it's that? How much of it's the record? How much of it's money? I'm sure they're all in the pie chart, but maybe they can give us a better idea of what the percentages are, because you can't get a lot of these 4-star, 5-stars if you don't get them on campus for official visits. And June has now turned into like a huge frenzy of a month to get these guys here. So they got a few weeks left. We keep our fingers crossed, Corey. Keep our fingers crossed.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Meanwhile, the other recruiting, baseball.
Yeah.
Since the last time we spoke, Corey, you had mentioned Trey Beard, the Dunedin native, who was at FAU, lefty starter, trending well for the Noles. Well, he went ahead and committed to the Noles, probably maybe on Friday. So I'm not saying you lose Jamie Arnold and you plug this guy in, but they do fill a need in their starting rotation with a guy like Trey Beard. I need to pull his stats up here, but he went 6-2 thanks to our guy Irish show fella. He went 6-2 last season, 3.14 ERA in 86 innings. He's 6-2.
Yeah,
6-2. He went 7-1. He went 7-1.
It'd be cooler if he was 7-1.
Yeah, right. Eat your heart out, Randy Johnson. 118 Ks, 32 walks, and 86 frames. So strong.
Yeah, and I think his batting average against was below 200. I think he gave up 5 homers all year and like 12 extra base hits. That's really, really impressive. Not a lot of hard contact. And he got so much better from his first year to his second year that you really wonder, okay, where's that going to finish? Where's that going to end up? Because he might be a guy like, I think he's in line to probably be your opening day starter if he's healthy and everything goes. I mean, Mendez will have something to say. But I just think
is Vellini gone, or do we think?
No, Vellini could be here too. I mean, I think Vellini is draftable, but I don't know what his prospects are of being drafted because it just seems like all they care about is the radar gun, and my man's throwing 91, and that's slow in this day and age. So I don't know how high he's going to be drafted, and if he'd want to come back and raise his stock or just come back for another year of college baseball. I don't know, but he's definitely has some eligibility left. But I think Trey Beard is a guy that you pencil in as definitely a weekend starter. And he's if he has a good year, you might be looking at another early round draft pick. I don't want to put a first round pick on him, but those are the numbers of a potential first round pick, like a 3.1 ERA in a real conference now. They play real teams. I think East Carolina, they played East Carolina, they played UTSA. So he played some real lineups. And when you strike out more than when you have a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, and you strike out 1.2 players per inning, those are really good numbers. So seemingly really talented. Seemingly you're not going to replace Jamie Arnold. He's not that guy, but you got a frontline starter. I think according to our On3 transfer portal rankings, he was the best starting pitcher available in the portal. So that's a good one to go get. I'd like a few more announcements coming down the pike, Aslan.
Yes, sir.
A little too quiet for my taste.
Agreed.
But yeah, I do. That's a really big get for them.
Played Miami 3 times. All games were 1 run. They won 1, lost the other 2, and lost to the Gators 4-2. And I know you didn't pitch in those games, but again, to say that FAU is a pretty quality program in the state. They made it to regionals several times in the last 10 years. So good program, good pedigree. Problem is, though, Corey, it sounds like, to your point about there not being a lot of other news out there, which maybe no news is good news in some regards, that you're not getting poached, but there hasn't been any kind of real big surge of additions. And there was some smoke on the message boards about a UVA player, right? So UVA lost their coach, Kevin O'Connor. He went and took the job at Mississippi State. He had a left-handed pitcher named Bradley Hodges, who apparently, I shouldn't say apparently, he is from, he's from Florida. Is he from Fleming Island too? My God, he's from Fleming Island, Florida. Look at that. All roads lead back to Fleming Island.
Wonder if he knows Samuel Singleton.
I know, he probably does.
He must, yeah.
But the word on the boards was there was a player from Virginia who was a left-handed pitcher who Florida State was in on, and they were close to a commitment, but then an SEC team came off the top rope and tripled their offer, if you will. So the only person that sacks that up is a left-handed pitcher from Virginia named Bradley Hodges, who's from Florida. So you think that might be the person these people are talking about, but this just goes, I guess, underscores this whole $20.5 million revenue share and how you want to split it up. I mean, maybe some of these programs, although you think South Carolina's got a women's basketball program they take a lot of pride in that, and they're going to fully invest in their football team. You would think baseball is probably still going to be third most important thing to them, and they get a guy that you were in on, but again, maybe this NIL stuff isn't in the back in the genie bottle as much as we or me had hoped.
Yeah, it's hard to say, man. Who knows? I just who knows? We don't know how it's playing out right now. We don't know what the challenges are going to be, like court challenges. We don't know how much cheating is going to go on, but there will be some, and they'll still be under the table stuff. So who knows where it will be? I do think that when it comes to Florida State baseball, I mean, you do like that. If Vellini's still a iffy, but you do have Mendez and Trey Beard. They are going to bring in some arms. I don't know from where, but they are going to bring in some arms, and they have some arms they can develop. This isn't. I don't know if this is a great thing or not, but they're not losing a ton of bullpen guys. They didn't run out of eligibility, I should say.
I think Holtz might have been one guy that they
yeah, and Joe Charles. Charles and Holtz are both seniors. I don't know if there were any other seniors out there that you could perhaps depend on in 2026. So you still got that. You're still Florida State. You're going to have Miles Bailey, who's going to be one of the premier sluggers in the country. Cal Fisher, good player. Chase Williams could be something really special next season. You got some pieces. I would just like a little more. I don't like seeing that. I know, and it's hard to judge because like Mississippi State got some big time transfers, but they're from Virginia. They're following their coach. Yeah. Virginia got a great transfer, but he's from Duke. He's following his coach. So I don't know, when you look at it, I don't know how many guys out there right now are huge impact guys that they're still waiting to hear from, but there should be some. I know a kid, Rice had a kid go in the portal as we were doing this show. They hit 390 last year as a freshman. So he might, I'm not saying he's coming to Florida State, have no idea who the kid is, never heard of him until 5 minutes ago. But I'm saying like there's still guys that will be coming into the portal that can really impact the team. And I say this like, nobody was over the moon when Gage Harrelson committed to Florida State last year. I didn't have any idea. I mean, I know
there were some good tread lines there, though. A kid from Warner Robins played at Texas Tech, strong program. There's some things.
Sure, but he didn't light the world on fire in Texas Tech, especially his last year there. And you never would have thought, okay, there's your leadoff hitter that's going to lead you in runs scored. Like you didn't know he was going to have that kind of. You hoped, but it wasn't like there was a big bidding war for him. I wouldn't think. And he turned out to be an all-ACC caliber player. So, and I guess he could be back too. So there will be some names and some. Maybe there won't be the superstars that sign with Florida State, but there will be guys that perhaps turn into stars once they get to Florida State. Let's hope. And the softball team had a good signing class, so they will be good again in 2026.
Still have not heard anything about Payne Prescott, who exited that game against Oregon State, game 3 of that Super Regional, and he's obviously a part of the plan moving forward. He did retweet on Monday, though, the quick little video Florida State Baseball's Twitter account made about Alex Lodis, who is the Dick Hauser Trophy winner for this past season. So
well deserved.
I don't know if it's causation or correlation, but ever since I got a Ridge wallet, my posture's been better. Like I'm walking, I see my friends. Like I see people I haven't seen in a while. Like, Aslan, you look like you're taller. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm walking with better posture. Maybe it's because I'm not sitting on a wallet any longer. I don't know. No scientific evidence to back that up. But I do know that my wallet game is much stronger ever since I switched over to a Ridge wallet. Ridge is more than just wallets. Everything, though, made with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. Again, not just wallets, also everyday carry essentials like your key case, a suitcase, even wedding bands, rings, things like that. All built with the same sleek, durable design. And no matter what you end up picking over at Ridge, when you use the promo code WAKEUP, you can save 10% off, by the way. You'll get free shipping and a 99-day risk-free trial and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. Lifetime warranty. Check out the website. You might be like, ooh, a little bit expensive. Use the promo code WAKEUP. You might be able to save 10% and know that you'll have an item that is backed for the rest of your life. Pretty cool, I think. Check out ridge.com/wakeup. Again, ridge.com/wakeup to save 10% today. Last segment of the day, 2 more shows, mailbag somewhere in there. It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. On the way back from Jacksonville this weekend, Corey, I was listening to my guy Ryan Rossello. I said this in a group chat with you and Ira, but he had, I think Justin Williams might be his name, from The Athletic on, and they were talking about some stuff related to NIL, house settlement, and Rossello had mentioned reading things up about tanking possibly making its way to college athletics, whereas teams kind of purposely lose to find themselves in a better position next season, where in professional sports you tank to get a higher draft pick, to get a better player. College might now do some level of tanking that involves holding back money to then go a little bit bigger the following season, because, theoretically, if you think about it, what the guy was saying from The Athletic was that this $20.5 million number that we keep hearing about with the revenue sharing, and the revenue sharing is coming from TV revenue, ticket sales, and merchandise. That money cannot be referred to as a salary cap, because if they call it a salary cap, then it evokes all the things with employment and collective bargaining, all the things that they don't have right now. So it's not a salary cap, and it's going to go up 4% at minimum every year, this $20.5 million revenue share pool. So there may be a season, they say, where you think maybe your quarterback gets hurt, or I guess they would say this like preseason, your quarterback gets hurt and maybe some things don't look all that great. And your GM, GM Corey Clark, Derek Ray's gone. Now you're the GM, and maybe Michael Alford's made it to where Michael Norvell, or Mike Norvell as some people call him, has to report to you, Corey. So you might be the most powerful person in the football program, much like Ron Rivera is at Cal, much like Andrew Luck is at Stanford, and Jim Nagy is at Oklahoma. You can maybe see the tea leaves that, hey, this season's not going to be it. So we're going to kind of hold back some of this money for football. And then you're going to get another stipend, if you will, of revenue money to share with your players. But you've got some of that leftover powder from the year prior. So it's not a use it or lose it proposition. You could actually, of that $20.5 million, you don't have to spend every single red penny of it. You could save $1 million, $2 million and roll it to the next year where now everybody's got $22 million, but you've got 23. It makes me sick to think about that. Can you even think about a world where a place like Florida State could go into a football season and not max out what they have?
No, but I don't think it applies to schools like Florida State that care about football every year. I think to me it would make sense for like UAB to be like, not UAB, that's a little too low. Let's say
NC State.
No, they're pretty good. I'm trying to think of like a Troy. I guess that's UAB. Sorry, somewhere in Alabama, folks. Pick a smaller school. Like if they have $20.5 million, be like, why don't we just spend $2 million this year? We're not going to be good. Our quarterback's a freshman. We're not. We haven't sold any season tickets. Our fan base doesn't care all that much. Let's spend $4 million, and then next year we can have $38 million to spend when everybody else has 22. Is that how it would work?
Yeah.
Like it's basically, so over 2 years you get $43 million to spend. Well, spend 5 1 year and $38 million the next year. Now you can put yourself together a real roster. But at Florida State, no chance a school that cares about football would ever tank. It just wouldn't, because the coach is gone. The person that makes that decision is probably gone, because they're never going to stop asking for money. So what are you going? Oh, so they still want that money for the boosters. They still need to pay for those parking spaces. And you got to spend money just to have access to try to get season tickets. But no, we're not going to try to win this year. Good luck trying to get those people ever to renew their season tickets again. So you can't do that at a place like Florida State. You can't say, oh, understand, we tanked this year. We only spent $16 million. But guess what? Next year we got $26 million to play with. Who cares? That was a miserable fall. I hated autumn. You made me hate autumn because we keep going 2-10. No chance I'm renewing our season tickets. But I think like it could work for schools that like even a.
What about our
UCLA,
basketball program? Obviously, year one you've got to give
better
Luke,
idea.
You got to give Luke Laux an opportunity year one to show something. But maybe like you're like, all right, year 3, let's just kind of maybe take a little bit easy, and then year 4, like we'll max it out and we'll see what we can do. Or
what about UCF? Like a school like UCF that has some pride, they've had some football history, they have good teams sometimes, or USF. Wouldn't it make sense for them to do, in football I'm talking about, to do something like this? Basketball, I don't know if Luke Laux wants to get off his first year.
Yeah, no, first year.
Get off on the wrong foot.
First year we're going to try. We're going to try, but like maybe year 3, if there's no great year 1, 2.
But you're talking about, what is that, 10% of the budget, the basketball team? 8%. Like football is the key. Football is the key that would be there's no need to tank in basketball. That's not where most of your money's coming from anyway. And why save money when you're going to spend it the next year anyway? It all goes to football. So the tanking would be in football. And I just feel like maybe there's a chance it could happen with a middle tier program that wants to build for 1 year. Like or do it for 2 years in a row. And then you got $56 million to spend when everybody else is spending $25. Then you've really got a chance to make some noise. But yeah, I don't
listen,
think
you've
that's
talked
ever
about
gonna
it.
happen.
Lesser teams have beaten better teams on a Saturday, so you can quote unquote tank. But it might be like the major league effect. And I know it was a movie, but it could be one of those things where like, listen, we don't have all the things that we thought we were going to have, and everybody else that we play against is going to have. But you know what? Like screw that. Like I love you guys. I picked you. Play for that guy beside you. maybe go and actually have a pretty decent season. Now, you're not going to compete for a playoff spot for one of these group of 6 schools, but you might be able to still, your war or whatever you want to call it. They might have been 7-5 had they maxed out. Now you end up being 5-7, but you beat your rivals, so you're not that disappointed by it.
Yeah, but that's a risk to run. But yeah, I mean, you could have like a life-size cutout of Mike Norvell and just take off a piece of clothing forever win. That's a Major League reference, everyone, if you haven't seen the movie, and you should. But it is 40 years old, and I have to keep remembering my references are very, very dated. But that's a very good movie, and you should see it.
It's not 40. It came out in, 88? 89?
88, 89. It's close enough, man. It's 36. It's 36 years old, buddy.
How was your birthday, buddy? Speaking of years.
I mean, it would have been cool if my son didn't get robbed of a home run. Hope that kid feels great. Hope that kid felt great doing that. But no, it was good. We had a good. It was actually a fun trip in Hoover. This is a cool team with some cool parents. Got to hang out. Brady had a good time. That's what obviously matters most, I guess. And I'm having the real birthday celebration in a couple of weeks. So we'll see how that one goes.
All right, well, you're breaking up on us, so that'll be our cue to wrap this up. So you're saying you're having a celebration later on in a few weeks? Is that what it was?
Yeah, in a couple weeks with a buddy of mine that I've known since I was 6 weeks old. It's both our 50th birthdays, so we're doing a dual party.
Who, Big Shane?
Yeah, you were invited, but I don't know that you're coming.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to make it, buddy. Sorry. I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't know if it was a surprise or not. So, but now it's out there.
No, that's fine. Nope, no surprise. I know all about it. But yeah, you're not coming. No surprise there. I'll tell you that much.
Hey, if it was in Tallahassee, I'd be like, give me some credit. It is going to be up in Atlanta, so
it is. I understand. I appreciate the effort.
Okay. All right, that's a wrap for us. Again, 2 more shows minimum coming your way. Seminole Headlines today, 1 to 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's the plan.
All right, fantastic. Maybe we'll do a show for you folks tomorrow. We'll see how it all goes. Subscribe to the podcast, everybody. That'd be really cool. Just subscribe to this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your other podcasts on. And you don't have to worry about me giving you an update at minute 51 of what the rest of the week is going to look like. So people helping people. Help yourself, everybody. Help me. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to another edition of Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com.